Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M53 M55, the Tier 9 American SPG. This one's located on the southwest spawn of Live Oaks, and it's under the command of a fingernail clipping of Trip. And yes, we have been seeing a lot of his replays. You're going to see some more in the near future. Okay, waiting for the countdown to end. Game on. Well, I do know that fingernail clipping has been imbibing on his usual medicine. The same sort of medicine, apparently, that Prince Harry likes to take. So he's well enjoying himself at this moment. Okay, we're looking towards the city as our first target, just at the entrance. Anything that gets destroyed, normally it's a clue that there's an enemy tank there doing it. Ayudas has moved in rather quickly, so he might get some spots for us. I like to pre-aim on certain spots, especially the tree, because there's nearly always somebody. But we're hearing destruction going on, and that means there is an enemy tank going through that area, and there you can see destruction is happening. Rounds out. And it was a direct hit with the first shot. So he got that one absolutely right. He worked out how much destruction, how far ahead he needs to fire it, and the shell landed on somebody who was actually going through those houses. It's a tier 10 game with tier 9 tanks, so he's going to get 10% extra for every tier 10 he hits. He didn't dwell on those tanks that were in the city at the moment because, of course, it would have been nice to see if any of them were missing hit points. But he's going after the hedge bomb. And he got 173 off that one. We're looking around for where he was. That was around the spot there, but there's a T-54D. We can certainly put the shell between those houses. It's a long-range shot, though. Right from one corner of the map to the other. Rounds out. Oh, didn't make it through the houses. But the good thing is he is changing position after his shot to avoid counter battery. Now, looking up the railway line at the moment, he was having a quick check just to make sure, because if there was somebody coming up, he'd need to put some shell in there. Okay, mouse. Almost loaded. Rounds out. Right next door to him for 46 hit points, but it's more important that he actually took a stun in that moment. And although we knocked the tree down, it doesn't really matter at this stage because he's moving away from the spot where he actually did knock the tree down. Although, if you knock down too many trees, it does give them a clue as to where you are. That AE phase 1 is a one-shot, so obviously he's a priority target for us. So we're going to land a shell next to him because it will kill him. He moves. Will he back up? He moves. He backs up. Rounds out. And he's out the game. Yep, made a big mistake there. Once he was actually spotted and he moved too close to the entrance there, or the exit, he didn't stay with the cover of the house. And that's why he ended up getting killed. That mouse sitting in the ditch is getting pummeled. He's hoping that whilst he's in the ditch, his weak spots are covered. Rounds out. What happened there? Did the shell actually hit it? Oh, well, there's the shot, actually. I was wrong. And the mouse went down, so he picked up a bit of stun assist off the mouse. Okay. We can land a shell near the gorilla, but not actually to do anything other than a bit of splash and a bit of stun. The T-54D that we saw between the houses is actually now moved, and he's in that little dip. We're switching to a stun shell. I think that's what we saw in the previous time when I thought that he fired at the mouse. In actual fact, he was switching shells. And he switched to an HE round. Okay. Fires it in. And yes, he does get stunned. And 290 hit points of damage. Now, the enemy was getting close, but now the furthest one back is at the gap, so underneath the bridge. It's an FE215B 183 Death Star. Meanwhile, the enemy, well, they are getting fairly close on the other side. You'll see they've got a GeForce tank, an FE215B 183 over there as well. Another Death Star. We're going for the TS5. Yes, he does get a hit. 220. Yeah, these guys are in a bit of danger because there is a Death Star trying to get around them using the dip in the lake. And he's going to come up behind them and start shooting them in the rear. So it would be helpful for us to actually put shells down on top of that guy, suppress him and stop him from doing that. There he is. Okay, now we need to put a round into that guy. Rounds out. Yes! Solid hit. Good hit. Stun as well. Unfortunately, he does kill the Rambo. It's a pity the DBV 152 didn't hit that guy, because if he had, that might have given us a huge amount of stun assist. So now we're knocking down trees to actually provide cover because the enemy is getting closer. GeForce just the other side of the ridgeline. The BC-75 in the enemy team is probably a better bet, but he's gone out of sight as well. Okay, the BC-75 is back. He's in sight. There he is. Line up the shots. Rounds out. Looks good. Direct hit! Of course, he was unspotted, so we won't know how much damage we did at this stage. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment, so it's not going so well, and we're way down on hit points. We're focusing all our attention on this side. Oh, there's the one we hit, and he's pushing a wreck behind him, or in front of him, rather, I should say. And we did get a substantial amount of hit points, and we hit his turret. 514 hit points from that shot. We're loading non-stun HE again. So that BC-75 took 2 hits. We can't see where the HE shell landed, the previous one, but we can probably get a guess that it was somewhere that we're not seeing at the moment. May have been the rear or the side. And he has gone, which means we've saved ourselves a shell there, because we were about to hit him. Now, I don't think there's another enemy tank there, but I do think that G-Saw, and oh my gum! The Death Star's decided to move up, and he's actually very, very close to us. Our TL7's about to die, but we do hit him for 468, and the TL7 dies, unfortunately. But we did get a big hit on this guy, and he's out the game. The Strip 103B finished him off. M46 pattern down at the gap. Just trying to get at our STB-1. Okay, we're reloading HE. Ready to go. There he is. Rounds out. Overshot, and now we're getting counter-batteried. And it looks like the enemy Arty was actually firing from the city or nearabouts. The shell came in sideways against us. And the only way that would happen is if it was coming from the city. Would have come in long ways if he'd been at the enemy cap area. I think he's just guessing where the G-Saw is at the moment. And that's another shot being fired at us directly by the enemy Arty. But he missed on this occasion. You hear that roar in the distance. That's a shell aimed in your direction, but it's probably going to miss you. I say probably. It's not definitely going to miss you. There's 4 minutes left in the game. He's got 5 shells of standard HE. We could go after this Death Star. Rounds out. Well, that tracked him, and 292 hit points at all counts. Right up against the edge of the map. The pattern's a one shot. We need our guide, our STB, to go in and get a look and find out where he is. We can see the Death Star. We can't see the pattern. Might as well just hit the Death Star as it is. Rounds out. That pattern's popped up again. It's almost like he knows when we're not loaded. He must be working out from when his teammate gets hit how much time he's got before he's going to get spotted and fired at by the Arty. Most tank players who are actually smart and Arty aware will actually know the times of reload for certain Artys, and therefore they will base their actions upon can they get into cover before the Arty is loaded. In the meantime, we can see the TS6 on the enemy team over on the other side of the lake has suddenly popped up. 4 left on our team, 5 on the enemy team. We've managed to claw something back. In fact, we're better on hit points now than we were. And a lot of that is down to a fingernail clipping. STB needs to find that M56 for us. We keep finding the Death Star, but rounds out. And that went long. So 2 minutes left on the game. He's got 3 shells left, and the enemy Arty is trying again and missed. It seems that he's spending all his time trying to kill us instead of actually trying to kill our tanks, and that might actually be having an effect upon their team and their success. We're loaded. Rounds out on the TS6. Oh, we hit the lip of the lake. The ridgeline going around the lake, and that one, so that shell does nothing. Oh, there's the enemy Arty. We just saw him. He just fired. Going to be loaded momentarily. And it's an HE round as well. He's picked it up. He held down his right mouse key for that shot. And fired one back. And, well, he did get spotted. It's the G-Saw tank. And he's just fired a round into us for 408. And that was APCR. And that missed us. And that was an AP round from the Arty. It did no damage to the building, didn't explode. If it had exploded, then it would have been HE or extra HE, but it was actually armor piercing. Oh, he shotguns the G-Saw, but he is going to die. 5 seconds left in the game. The DBV comes in, exacts some revenge, but it is a draw. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a second-class tanker for a fingernail clipping of Trip in the M53, M55. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12 in that game. And he also managed to get a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. And he got a win 8 of 3,907, which is, again, super unicum. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, 3,821 hit points was the amount that fingernail clipping got, but the enemy managed to get more. The Heshpan on the enemy team managed 4,669, and unfortunately he got killed. Well, fortunately for us, the BC75 got 4,021 in second place, and he got killed. And then we've got fingernail clipping in third place with 3,821. When it came to kills, we can see top scorer was the DBV152, the TL7, and the G-Saw tank on the enemy team. They all got 3 kills piece. 2 kills went to the Death Star, the mouse, and the other Death Star on the enemy team. And third place, we've got fingernail clipping with just 1 kill. And when it came to base XP, we can see that because it was a drawn game, then nobody gets the bonus. But funnily enough, it means that a fingernail clipping got the highest base XP in that game for all the damage he did. 576 base experience points. He was hitting tier 10 tanks, and therefore he was getting extra XP from that. Second highest was the TL7, who got 538. And the third highest damage, or highest base XP rather, is the BC75 on the enemy team with 523. He fired 20 rounds. That means he used up all of his ammunition during that game. He got 6 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations, but he did get 16 splashes. Damage of 3,821, of which 3,032 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the last shot that he actually fired was at the G-Saw tank, who was very close to him at the time, and he got a shotgun on him. 2 hits received. Unfortunately, both penetrating shots, both gone. And 1 hit by way of splash damage. The enemy did get close once, but they used an armor piercing round for that last shot. They could have used, if they'd used an HE, then they might have actually got some damage and maybe killed us, but they didn't. They used the wrong shell. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 1 was killed, and 364 hit points of stun assist of 8 stuns. On a free-to-play account, actually, fingernail clipping made a loss of 42,876 credits, and that's mostly down to the fact that he had to resupply his consumables and repair the vehicle. So that's why it cost him. He did get the Courageous Resistance, though, for getting a medal in a losing or drawn game. He also picked up 910 XP out of it as well. So, as he says, stoned and in the zone. Well, as I said, there's another British person over there who is stoned. And yes, he's, I don't think he's a World of Tanks player, but certainly somebody ought to introduce him to it because, yeah, fingernail clipping is an aficionado and he kind of likes his medicine as well. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like and thank you for watching.